welcome back to DIY Boomboxes in Texas. My name is Phil, your host. We have Elizabeth with us today. Not sure where Duke is. He's probably lounging around somewhere. But I got a request to do cover a couple of topics that some people have some questions about. So I'm going to go ahead and cover ground loop isolators and voltage boosters. So first we're going to talk about ground loop isolators. So let me explain what they are. I'm going to zoom in real quick here so you guys can see what's going on. Elizabeth, stop it. Oh, Elizabeth's trying to get something out of my cabinet here. You know how cats are. So anyway, let me zoom in there real quick so I can get a good shot of it. Okay, y'all, this is what it looks like when it comes. It comes with this little box right here, and it comes with a connector like this. Now what this does is this allows you to have your input coming in from your radio. Let's say it's from your decoder board like this one right here, and what you're going to use is you use one of these little adapters right here to plug in your speakers to this, and then that's going to plug in your ground loop isolator, and then your ground loop isolator is going to plug in over here to your amplifier right here. Now the reason you do that is because anytime you have any type of audio equipment like your thing here putting out a signal, you can sometimes get a loop of voltage coming back through the ground because you have the amplifier also plugged into ground, and that's going to want to try to come through the speakers and into your system, and that's why sometimes you'll get a hum on your speakers. And what this does is the ground loop allows any of that extra voltage or interference coming through the sound system here, kind of like when you hear the squealing on a microphone and some kind of a background thing. That's kind of like what it is. I mean, I'm explaining this terribly, but basically you're going to get a hum or something through your speakers from the radio that's coming back up through the ground. And what the ground loop isolator does basically is it takes out that sound and it gives you a nice crystal clear sound coming into your amplifier and then eventually onto your speakers. So that's why you really don't need it too much if you have just an amplifier like this one here. Well, let me get the other one here. With the Bluetooth, like this Droke amp right here. This one runs on Bluetooth, and you don't need that. But if you have any type of external source, like if you have a radio or this little FM unit right here, you're going to want to use a ground loop isolator or a noise isolator. I actually have one in my Mega Boombox to filter out some of the noise and the stuff coming from the other interference of the other electrical items in the circuit, and you'll get a nice crystal clear sound that comes through your amplifier. So these are what the ground loop isolators look like. Like I said, they come with a cord, and you just go ahead and plug in your audio unit in there from, let's say, your FM decoder board or whatever kind of FM or anything that you're using, and then plug this into your amplifier right there, and of course there's outputs for your speakers, and it should cut out any noise. I've been using these for quite a while. I've used these on quite a few of my builds that have the FM decoder in it, and they work perfectly fine. These are probably, I don't know, between $6 and $8 on Amazon. You might be able to get them cheaper from eBay or some other places, but they work really, really well. So let me go get the Mega Boombox so I can show you guys what voltage boosters do. I don't physically have one here, but I do have one in the Mega Boombox. So let me go get that. And okay, everybody, I've got the Mega Boombox here. You've seen my other builds. And yes, I promise I'll crank it up before the video ends. So let me get the antenna off so I can open the lid a little bit, and we'll take a look on the inside, and we'll talk about the voltage booster. So let me move the camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, now we're looking at the inside of the Mega Boombox, and I'm going to pull off the camera off the pedestal real quick, so it's going to get a little shaky, so I can show you guys what we're talking about. Now, the reason you would need a voltage booster in this case, let me show you right here. This is my amplifier that I'm using, and this amplifier runs between 12 volts and 38 volts. Now it's a 400 watt amplifier, and what that means is you're not going to get the full 400 watts unless you're running at 37 volts. Well, as you guys can see here, I've got batteries, and I'm also running a power supply that's underneath there. I don't know if you can really see it. See it down there is the power supply running at 12 volts. So I installed this little device right here. This is called a voltage booster. And the way it works is I've got 12 volts coming in right here from the relay. Of course, you guys saw how I hooked up the relays. So it's basically coming from the power supply through the relay. 12 volts coming in. And if you see these two, let me get something to point with real quick. If you see these two little pins right here, those are your voltage adjusters. And what you're going to have to do is, this is your output right here, and it's going back to the amplifier. You have to put a meter, a digital voltmeter on here, and you turn these little screws, and you can turn up the voltage up to 40 volts. This booster here goes from 12 volts to 40 volts DC. So what I did was I adjusted these pins here, and I turned them up to 38 volts, which is what the amplifier needs. So you've got 12 volts coming in and 38 volts coming out. Now, a lot of these will have quite a large heat sink, as you can see right there. So let me move some of this insulation here. You can see that. So you see, I don't have it sitting on the ground. I actually have it suspended in the air by these bolts. You can see it's bolted back here in the back. And that's what's holding off the ground so that heat can, come out from under the heat sink there. And it works really good. These are not that expensive. I think I paid $14 or $15 for it on eBay. And they work really good. They gives me plenty of power for the amplifier over here. Now, we were talking about noise earlier in ground fault. You see this little fan right here I have that blows on the amplifier. Well, I'm getting noise from that fan. So over here, you can see down here, that's another ground isolator, noise filter, as you can see right there. And that's what I use to help dissipate the noise from the fan. And it works really, really good. And of course the relays, you guys seen how I hook all this up. This was quite the electrician's nightmare right here, but it works really, really good. So let me go ahead and get the camera mounted back here on the pedestal. Okay, everybody, here's the Mega Boom Box. Now, the question I get asked the most is, why do I have so many switches? Well, there's a reason for that. And let me, hold on just a second here. My phone's going to act silly on me. Trying to get to the YouTube. Trying to find a good song to play. What would we want to hear today? Let's see. Well, hold on. I didn't get to hear that one. Let's see. Alright. Anyway. So, this switch here turns on the relay. And what that does is, right now I'm on battery power. The power supply is turned on. And when I flip this switch, it will switch it to battery power to power supply. This switch here turns on the radio itself. This switch here turns on the amplifier, and well, actually turns on the voltage booster, which turns on the amplifier. This switch here turns on the fan that runs the amplifier, and this switch here turns on the voltage gauge and also the USB ports and the charging ports. So this is how we fire it up. And let me go ahead and put it on Bluetooth. And let's get ready to crank it up. Give it just a second here to connect. Okay, why we're not getting any voltage? Okay, let's see here. Here we go. here's the Mega Boombox. One more time. Let me swing back here. Go ahead and move back the camera. And lower it down a little bit. Go ahead and turn that off. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Oh, I love this thing. It was so hard to build, but I think it was worth it. And you guys, you should challenge yourself sometimes. Now I know this project was extremely ambitious. It overwhelmed me a few times, but I'm so happy with the result. The main thing I want to tell you guys, if you ever want to do something this big and this ambitious, is take your time. This took me probably 6 months of planning and also saving up for the parts. So the first thing I suggest is find you a good base. That's where this project evolved from. I found this toolbox and I thought, wow, that would make an amazing project. And I was only going to put 5 1/4 up here, but then I realized if I cut these trim pieces here, I could get 6 1/2 up here. And I always planned on using 6x9s. And you can see how close the tolerance is. That's as close as you can get. So I measured 10 times before I cut the holes. But also what I did was I took out some poster board and I cut out templates showing how everything's going to fit together, so I got an idea. And of course I went with the best radio, the best speakers. So it cost me quite a bit of money to build this thing, but it's absolutely amazing. It still blows me away. And of course I custom painted the speaker grills and the trim pieces and everything. And it took me probably 5 weeks of hard work to build it. But the main thing is just take your time if you're going to do something like this, and just educate yourself, ask a lot of questions. I mean, I spent one whole Saturday just figuring out how to make that relay work. I knew I wanted it to work, but I did tons and tons of bench testing. I bench tested the radio. I bench tested everything before I ever put it in. So thanks guys for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.